I'm gonna show you how to get your first Airbnb or build your Airbnb portfolio using someone else's money. I've done it many times. My family and I, we have just under 100 listings between Florida and New York, and 90% of those listings that we have, we've done it with someone else's money. Let me tell you whose money we've used. In the beginning, it was ours. All the listings we had when we started, we were just leasing the properties. Many people don't understand that. You think you may need to go out and buy and go and borrow a bunch of money, but it's not the case. When you're leasing, all it is first month's rent and security deposit. So if you are paying $1,500 a month in rent to generate $3,000, $4,000 a month in Airbnb passive income, you're only gonna need first month's rent, $1,500, security deposit, $1,500, $3,000 to get that first place. So it doesn't really take a lot of money to make that happen. And you'll be keeping anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 in your pocket after the rent is paid. That's like saying, you give me $1 and I'll give you back $3. If someone told you that, what would you do? You'd find a way to get that $1, right? Just think about that. Where can you get the $1,500? Where can you get the $3,000 to start your first Airbnb? Well, there's a number of places you can get it. You can get it from a friend, you can go borrow it. You may just have to save up real quick and get it because you're gonna get that money back. That's how we did it, right? We did it, and then here's the beauty of it. With that $3,000 that you're keeping in your pocket every month, you have the ability to go do it again. First, I want you to understand the way I think about it. Poor people, middle class, wealthy. These three categories of people do this all different. The poor people, they think about money for the purposes of what? Of just paying their bills. And their money is just going out the window. They just go to work, taking time away from their family so that they can come and just pay the bills. The middle class, what they do, they use their money for the purposes of what? Of buying stuff. They buy houses like this, they buy cars, they go on vacation, they're using their hard-earned money to just buy more stuff so that they can feel good, look good, to make them look like they're rich. That asset, this house, that car, is not really an asset, it's truly a liability. Because every month, instead of it giving them something back, all it's doing is it's requiring them to go back to work because you have to pay for it every month, over and over again. For the wealthy, what they do is they see money for the purposes of making more money, right? So they're just acquiring assets for the purposes of making them money, right? And whether it's houses or putting it in their business, whatever that thing is that's making them more money. So that's what wealthy do. To get an Airbnb, you only need first month's rent security deposit. You don't need to go out and buy a property. Like, that's the best way to get started. It's the easiest way to get started. Anyone can do it. All my kids do it. All my students do it. You can do it too. I do it, right? We got hundreds of listings. We do it. Could be anywhere from $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 is all you need to pick up your first place. Where are you gonna get the money from? From wherever you can, right? You may be able to get it from mom, dad, friend. You may be able to get it from a credit card. You may be able to get it from just a little loan, right? Some of those loans are now, like, you think about this, if you borrow money from a credit card, you got 21% interest. That's 21% interest! Are you crazy? No, I'm not. Listen, that's how the poor think about it. You wanna know why? Remember what I told you up here? Why, how do the poor think about using their money? For the purposes of just paying bills. And you were right. You would be crazy to borrow 21% interest to just pay somebody's bill. That's nuts. It's also crazy if you're borrowing and paying 21% interest just to get another liability that's just trying to make you feel good or look good in front of people. So now let me show you how I borrowed $100,000. I paid over the 2 years that I had the $100,000, a total of $24,000. That's a 24% total interest on that $100,000. And I had to pay the $100,000 back in 2 years as well. Let me show you how I did that using other people's money and built $2 million with that same $124,000 in 2 years, all right? So here's the math. 100,000 is what I borrowed. I had 24,000 in interest that I had to pay back. That's a total of $124,000. $124,000. What did I do? What I did was I picked up enough Airbnbs, paid first month's rent and security, and I made sure that each of those places were generating at least twice what I was paying in rent. That's what we call the formula. In fact, I got a formula video that my daughters actually did where they show you exactly how we do formula, how you pick up places that are going to be generating anywhere from 2 to 3 times what rent is. So when you pay your rent, you're going to be keeping in your pocket as much, if not more, than what the landlord is getting. That's how you build financial independence and freedom so quickly. So we did that a few times with the $100,000, but only a small portion of it, because this is what happened next. I'm making a profit above and beyond the rent on the first few places. I didn't have to keep taking from this $100,000. What I was able to do is take the money that I was getting from cash flow and use that money to pick up more places. So now my portfolio is growing every month, but yet I'm not getting, my $100,000 is not eroding. I still got a bunch of that still left over in the bank, just sitting there for the next opportunity. So that's what we do. That's the difference between poor, middle class, and wealthy. The wealthy, I didn't pick up these places just so that I could pay this bill, right? I didn't borrow this money so I could go pay some bill. I didn't borrow this money so I could just go buy a house and look, or buy a nice car, or go on vacation so I can look cool, feel good, or make somebody else think I'm rich and I ain't. What did I do? I used the money to make more money. And I let that money make more money. And so as the money just keeps making more money, this $100,000, majority of it was still sitting in the account. Why? While these assets, my Airbnbs, were growing and adding more. And when COVID hit, our revenue didn't go down. In fact, it actually went up because we had had so much momentum. Why? Because our money was working for us. Assets, not liabilities. And guess what? I actually, 2021, I actually paid this off. Paid it off happily. Why? Because I didn't have $2 million in the bank, but what I had was, I had about $180,000 on the Airbnb side that was being generated in cash flow. This was cash flow. And I had about 1.2 million in revenue that we were generating annually as well. It was really, it had gotten to the point where we were generating roughly close to about $200,000 cash per month, right? Just under that. So that's just around $2 million. Actually, that's a little bit more. So that's how that worked. I didn't take advantage of him, right? Just because he didn't make $2 million, but he still did well. It was win-win. He still made $24,000 over a 2-year period on $100,000 and got his $100,000 back. Right? Any transaction you do, you want it to be win. You don't want to be taking advantage of people. You don't want people taking advantage of you. He got what he wanted, the $24,000 in interest, and I got what I wanted, which is I wanted to be able to have the cash reserves to take advantage of the opportunities to invest in the assets that were going to make me money. And guess what? We still do the same thing today. You can do the same. If you really think that you can't do this because you don't have the money, if you believe that you have to live check to check, like that example, that illustration that I gave you, I'm telling you, it's real, it works. You just need to be resourceful and understand the bigger picture first. If I give you $1, you're gonna get back 3, then just go find the dollar. Just go find the dollar. And just, as long as you got a vehicle that you're gonna put that dollar in that's gonna kick back to 3, then you should be putting that dollar in all day long. Don't go spend the profit, right? Don't go out spending the profit getting clothes and cars and stuff that, again, remember, liabilities that aren't paying you anything back. You get to a point where you just put the money back in and let it just continue to roll and grow and grow and grow and have babies, is what I like to call it. Have babies. Let that money have babies. And when you got enough babies, the money having babies and their babies having babies, then you'll never have to work another day in your life, right? And so if you're looking for family financial freedom, if you're looking to be able to change generational cycles that you and your family have gone through, if you're looking to build legacy with your kids, your grandkids, want to help family members who really need to be more of a blessing to the church, take your gifts and your passion, right, and nurture them and grow them to make your mark on the world and on society where you're called to. If you're looking to truly build generational wealth for you and your family, is don't think like the poor. Don't think like the middle class. Think like the wealthy. If you take action, if you keep it simple and model what we do, I promise you, you will get the same result. Because again, it's not about how much it costs. It's more about how much it's worth. If you found that this was helpful, share it with someone. Put a comment below and I'll send you some more free information that will be even more of a blessing to you. God bless you.